Hello and welcome to Beyond the Finish Line, the podcast for runners of every pace, every distance, and every goal. I am your co-host, Georgia. I am a marathon runner, a content creator, and a soon-to-be mum. On today's episode, we are answering all of your questions from heart rate zones, marathon pacing, influencing and tracking your calorie intake. But before we get to that, I better introduce you to the other half of the podcast. Welcome, Coach Matt. He is a 5-time Ironman. He's an ultra marathon runner, a coach, and the owner of the Performance Project, who I also work alongside. How are you going, Matt? How has your week been?
Okay, Georgia. Mate, week's been good. Back from
Yeah.
training camp, got home last night, so it's good just to be like back in my own bed and back into some form of routine. So yeah, things are good.
Out of that cabin.
Yeah, I was getting cabin fever, legit. Like it was 11 days was a long time to be away.
That is a long time. As much as you were saying you were looking forward to having some time off, it's a long time to be away.
Yeah, I think with those sort of trips, it's really, really good until you're just done energy wise, and then it's like this is the worst place on earth.
It's also hard because you did a bit of training at the start of it and then you were then coaching at the back end. So
Mm,
you're working the back end of it. So that's just a lot. Plus, you not being the most conversive person in person where you're like super energetic around other people.
mm,
I feel like that would really drain your battery where you're just having
yeah,
to like keep
or
up conversation and
or I have to be extroverted. Yeah.
yeah.
It,
Yes, I
it,
can
no, it
imagine that being
actually
really tough.
it actually works out quite good because we have with the TPP community, people kind of know each other just from like the community aspect. So
Yeah.
like there's enough momentum there for people to start conversations. And I also feel because we sort of chuck them in the deep end where we're like, cool, unpack your shit, get the bikes out, like we're going in 10 minutes from when they get there. They're kind of forced to just like be in this hard situation straight away and they're forced to talk and communicate and it just sort of breaks the ice straight away. So,
Yeah, that's always
um,
good. And as you said, if everyone knows each other, it's way less awkward than just like
mm,
turning up being like, hey.
yeah, yeah. So, it went well. Like all the training camps always go well, so it's not that bad. But yeah, everyone was definitely tired by the end of it. When the vlog comes out,
Yeah.
you'll just see like the energy levels just start to dip.
Oh dear. Give us your highs and lows from your week, whether that be training camp or your own personal week.
Yeah, highs were training camp. Like it was great success. Everything went well. Managed to sort of handle everything work-wise too while still being away, which was good. Lows actually a bit interesting this week. Also came from training camp where I was listening to a podcast while I was out on a run before the guys came, and they were talking about it was with the current CrossFit Games champion, and
Yeah.
he said something that like for whatever reason just really resonated with me at the time where he said, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect.
Hmm.
And I was just for some reason I was really thinking about it. I was like, I haven't trained hard since Ironman Cairns. I've run a 100K ultra, I've done a 50K ultra, I've done 70.3, I'm doing another 70 point, done all these events, and I haven't trained hard for 9 months. Like I haven't really been focused on training.
Hmm.
And then I was sort of like, I'm probably like 3 or 4 kilos heavier than what I should be at this time. I'm probably like not as fit as I should be. Like I've really taken my eye off that training prize. And for whatever reason, it just really like hit me after listening to that thing that I was like, you know what, like I haven't been diligent with those sort of things. And while I always talk about seasons in life and like I've been really, really focused on TPP and growing it, and that has I ticked or you and I have ticked every box in terms of growing business in that 9 months. It even exceeded what we thought we could do. There is a part of me that's like maybe I should have not been as focused on that and kept a little bit of focus on training and stuff. But yeah, it's a little bit of a low, but it's also good that to realize it and like, okay, like now I can do something about that.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a lot of people struggle with this, right? It's like when you're up to your neck in work and stuff, whether that's in the corporate world or whatever it is you're doing your own business, it is always hard to balance your own personal life as well. I have friends that struggle with the same kind of stuff, when they're doing really, really well at work and things are going really well at work, then
Mm.
they're like, oh my God, I haven't been to the gym. I haven't been able to do anything I enjoy doing. And so it's such a hard balance to find where you go, okay, how can I still put everything I have into my business or my work, but also prioritize my own health as well. So I guess, as you said, though, it's at least you've recognized it. And now it kind of gives you a bit of fire to be like, all right, I'm going to really, put all my energy into that as well as, managing the business as well.
I think the maybe the big difference with that is I have still trained. I haven't not been training. I just haven't been taking training seriously.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, I've got this 2-hour bike to do. I'm just gonna literally do the bare minimum to say I ticked it off, rather than like before I would be like, how can I get the absolute most out of it? Um, and it's just like one of those things, death by a thousand cuts, where it's like, okay, like this one's a little bit less serious, this one's a little bit less serious than that. And it's 9 months later, you're like, I might as well have not even got on the fucking bike. So, um, yeah, it's just been, like I said, good realization, but it sort of hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, well, okay, like 9 months is a long time. Like if you're going to go to bus at the end of the year, or if you're going to do UTA in 14 weeks or whatever it is, like you got to fucking pull your finger out and lock back in.
And just with what you're saying about like your sessions and stuff, have you been
Mm.
enjoying the sessions or have you literally just been ticking them off because you feel like you've had to?
Just literally ticking them off. Maybe it's like towards the top of
Okay.
my COSI prep, I was pretty locked in. But like even then, compared to
Yeah.
Ironman Cairns, where everything was around that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, nothing. So I haven't even really been enjoying training a great deal, probably since maybe that's because I've been injured. Maybe that's just because I've been focusing on the business, and like there was so much success there that just was absorbing sort of my brain. Don't know, but I need to find a better balance.
Okay. Something to work towards. We can
Hmm.
check in with you over the coming weeks how it's going.
Yeah, I got 14 weeks till UTA or whatever it is. So yeah.
Good idea.
How about you, Georgia? Highs and lows?
Highs and lows. Well, I'm not training, so it's hard to come up with a training high and low because there's just not much happening with me at the moment. Yeah, look, low. I don't really have too much of a high besides like I'm obviously just super grateful to be healthy and happy and doing all those sorts of things and just living my dream life at the moment. Everything's really great with work, everything's great with TPP and friends and all that kind of stuff, which is always good things to be grateful for. The baby's safe. But yeah, I've just felt like my lows is just one thing after another. I was really, really sick again on the weekend, which is not fun. I just had horrendous vertigo. It was like I was just completely blackout drunk. Obviously, I wasn't, but I
Thank you
couldn't
for
stand up
clarifying
straight.
that. We needed
I
that.
know. Thought
Yeah.
I'd clarify. Yeah, I couldn't stand up straight at work, and I was just really, really unwell. So I had to leave work, which I don't like doing. And yeah, I just feel like parts of my life are, as you said, like, when you're all in on one thing, some parts of your life seem to then take a step back. And so I missed out on a lunch that I'd been planning with some friends, which really like got me down. And my hormones are all over the place. So I'm really emotional at the moment. And so it's just navigating different things. But look, as I said, it's nothing too grand in the scheme of things. I'm just grateful to be here, grateful to be doing what I do. But yeah, I guess a high was, we changed a bit of the branding with the podcast. I'm sure you guys would have noticed probably when this episode comes out as well, the episode title will change. And it's a nice little fresh start for the year, I think. I just need to pull my head into gear and make sure I'm really focusing on that kind of stuff for the podcast as well. And getting messages from everyone on the podcast or like people who come through my own personal socials just being like, oh, congrats on the pregnancy. I've come through the podcast and I love the podcast and stuff like that. So that's been really nice. And yeah, I guess when I spoke a couple of weeks ago on the podcast about not being sure about how my audience would react to me being pregnant and whether or not people would be a bit disappointed that I wasn't going to have the same kind of content as before. So many amazing people have just been like, oh my God, no, I love this season of your life and I'm loving hearing about it on the podcast. And You know, a lot of people saying, I'm not pregnant, I don't plan to be, or they've been a mum, like they are a mum kind of thing, they've been pregnant, and they're like, I'm really enjoying the content and something else to talk about. So, yeah, that's nice and reassuring, which is good. But other than that, I'm cruising, trying my
Yeah.
best every day.
Yeah. I still don't know why you were worried about that. I think like it just makes the story more compelling. Like I said that since the start. It's just like
You
people are
have,
gonna love
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like some people just, maybe I see that side of socials where some people are just like, oh, everyone's pregnant. I'm sick of seeing pregnant, or like your whole personality is pregnancy now. And I just need to stop worrying about other people and just do what I want. And I'm leaning into it a little bit more now and trying to do a little bit like what I used to do for my marathon training and make it more focused on like how to train when you're pregnant or something like that. And yeah, so see how we go, trying to lean in. I'm 17 weeks now, so still plenty to go and plenty to
Bloody
talk
hell.
about. I know it's
I
gone
remember. I remember when
fast.
you like when you told me. I was like, that does not feel like 17 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, I think I told you I would have probably only been
You would a
four,
couple of
4 or
weeks.
5
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my friends, she found out at like, gosh, 2 weeks or something. Literally the day we tested, she found out because she just
Hmm.
read it straight on my face the minute we tested. And she was like, oh my God, it's been forever. You've been pregnant for so long. So I was like, yeah, how do you think I feel? So yeah, but yeah, so everything's good and everyone online's been so amazing, which I love. I mean, greatest community ever. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, that's true. Um,
But
gonna do some questions.
yes. So we thought today, guys, that we would kick off the episode with a bunch of your questions. We had so many really great questions in our inbox over the past couple of weeks that have been banking up. And we just wanted to make a couple of them are a little bit longer. So we just wanted to make a whole episode. We know you guys love these episodes and they always do so, so well. So we have another one for you with lots of juicy questions. All right, let me pull them up. We have a question here, not from me, but from A Georgia. It says, if you both had to have 3 shoes on rotation for speed work, long/easy runs, and race day, what would they be?
Hmm.
Matt,
Go
you
on,
go
G.
first.
Hit him with
No.
the triple Asics.
No, you go first. Come on.
What distance run? What distance race? Because that will affect my answer.
Uh, I think marathon because there's a second part to this question. So I'm going to say
Okay.
marathon.
Okay. So my easy run, and this is actually a new shoe to my rotation. I liked it so much I made a reel about it, and I wasn't even sponsored. Is the Mizuno Sky 9. It
Wow.
is it is phenomenal. Like, guys, if you can get yourself a Mizuno, and like I know that sounds like a rogue brand to pull out of nowhere, they're actually like in quite a lot of shoe stores now. Like they're a
Yeah,
Japanese brand. Phenomenal. I know Jogon Crago really likes them.
he
Um
does. Yeah.
yeah, and I gave them a punt. Honestly, they are outstanding. I'm gonna buy myself a second pair to keep in the rotation. Like, that's how much I like them. Um speed work. I really like the Saucony Endorphin. Is it the 4?
Yeah.
I think it's the 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we both
I
have the
really,
4.
yeah, I really, really like them. Um, my only thing I probably don't like about them is maybe the foams on the heels are a little bit soft and get chewed up. If you do like a lot of hard road running. They do good on the track and on grass, but if you're doing a lot of speed work on road, they get chewed up pretty quickly. But
Yep.
great shoe. And then for the full distance, probably I've only worn it for a short run. I wore a mate's pair. Is the what's the new Asics? Not the really really good one, but like the really really not the Ray or whatever. What's the one under that?
Oh,
You wore them for
Metaspeed. Yeah.
your one.
Yeah, Metaspeed.
Yeah, yeah, I really like that. So they're probably my 3 at the moment.
Year 3. Yeah, the Metaspeeds are a great shoe and I wore them for the marathon. Did I wear them the year before? Can't remember.
No,
Actually,
they've
yeah.
just come out in time. They just come out in time for Sydney Marathon. This like your sub
Yeah,
4
they were there's been a couple of iterations of them. The one you're talking about, the one that I wore is the Metaspeed
with the thick foam on the bottom.
Tokyo.
Tokyo,
Yes.
yes, because
Yes.
I've got the Paris that has no padding.
Yes. It's got
And
the new
that
foam. Yeah.
yeah. So the Paris, I would have said if it was half marathon, I think that's awesome. I'm going to wear that in my 70.3. But
Yeah.
the Tokyo is great for the full marathon.
Yes, I wore the Paris at Gold Coast. They're a
Yeah.
great shoe as well. But yeah, the Tokyo is just like that extra level of super cushioned. I still don't think I'm actually vast enough to wear that shoe because I find them a little bit too cushioned that they then
Hmm.
start to lose the support side of things. Anyway, I
Yeah.
digress. Okay, so mine, long run easy. Okay, so my easy shoe, I'm trying not to suggest all ASICs here, but I do obviously have a lot of ASICs shoes, so it is very hard not to. Um, I'm going to mix a bit of my long run easy shoe with also that it would work for a marathon shoe, and that's the Mega Blast by ASICS. So I know I keep saying this on the podcast that their next shoe they bring out, I'm always like, oh my God, this is the better one. It really is a mix of kind of your Super Blast and your Nova Blast. It's kind of like they had a baby, and it's a perfect mix of lightweight, fast, supportive. Yeah, I found the Super Blast 2 to be a little bit too heavy compared to the 1. So I really like this Mega Blast. It's a really comfy shoe, and I know a few people who wore it for the marathon and loved it. So that is kind of my long run easy shoes / you could definitely wear them for a marathon. Speed work, I really like my New Balance. Are they the Elite?
Yep.
The Elites?
Yes.
Yeah.
See. Yeah.
Yeah, the SC Elite. Yes, thank you. That's it. I really enjoy wearing those actually. I find if I was going to go for a speed session, I'd probably pick those up. If I was kind of in a lineup of different shoes, they're the ones I'm really enjoying at the moment. I find them a little bit more supportive than other shoes that I've got that are plated. And again, you could wear those for a marathon if you wanted to as well, if you're looking for a plated shoe. So that's kind of my two ones that I'm loving at the moment. But I am testing out the Super Blast 3 soon. So we will see because it has the new foam in it that
Hmm.
is a kind of a take on, gosh, it's the new foam that they put in that um magic speed, not the magic speed, sorry, the ones you were just talking about. My baby brain is shocking. The meta speed, it has the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
foam in it that FF Blast, and so it's going to be a really interesting combination of the Mega Blast, the Super Blast, and the race day shoes. So when I know more about that, I'll be able to tell you guys. But I've heard good reviews so far, so it should be
Hmm.
interesting. But Georgia's also asked a follow-up question. She said,
What's your race? What's your race day shoe?
my race day shoe is either, depending on if you're wanting plated or not, it's the Mega Blast if you want
Hmm.
non-plated by ASICS. And if you're wanting a plated, I really like the SC Elite by New Balance, but I haven't actually worn them for a race, so it's hard to say. So I would say, again, I wore the ASICS for my marathon. And yeah, so they would be, as I said when Matt was just talking about it though, is that they are very cushioned. And so like I found if I ever wore them for long runs that my knees would be a bit sore because you do lose a lot of that stability. And so I feel like they would be better for someone who's running a lot faster than I am, just because it's less ground contact time. So I did find them to be a little bit less supportive than what I would like.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't know, just preference. But yeah, if I was going to pick one for a race day that's non-plated, I would say the Mega Blast is really awesome. And I think it's a really great shoe that's a bit of a better price point. So George's follow-up question was, if you can't afford the race day shoes and you have to choose between a speed shoe and a long run shoe for a marathon, what would you choose and why?
I would say it depends on how quick you're running. If you're, oh, you're probably it's probably not worth your time if you're running anything slower than sort of 4 to 4:15 to wear a plate. Like just if
Total
finances
time,
are
right?
yeah, total time, yeah.
Yeah.
4 hours 15 minutes, not 4:15 per kilometer.
I was like,
Um,
what?
yeah. But if we're calling a spade and we're like finances are the issue, I would not be wearing a carbon plate for anything under that anything slower than that time.
Yeah, I agree. And that comes from experience for me because I've done
Mm.
marathons in both non-plated and plated shoes. As I said, the meta speeds are amazing, but they're expensive. They're really expensive. And so If
Mhm.
you're like me and you're just a self-proclaimed average regular runner, I don't think you need them. And I think that the Mega Blast would be a really great shoe to invest in if you want to be able to get more out of it, because you can wear them for easy runs, long runs, on the day, like pretty much everything. So it's a lot better value for money, I think.
Yeah, and they'll also last you on the other side of your race too, so you keep using them.
What was that? Sorry.
They will, like, continue after the race, like, when you wear super shoes, you're like, "Cool, I'm probably not gonna pull these out to the next race." You can just
Yeah.
put them on the next day and keep running. So, like,
Yeah,
yeah, more
definitely.
more lifespan.
Yeah, definitely. I've got some super shoes in my cupboard that I kind of look at and I'm a bit like, God, they're so expensive and I don't even get
Yeah.
to wear them because, you can't really wear them on just like an easy run around the park. So
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
yeah. And I mean, my first ever pair of super shoes, Kipchoge signed them. That's because I was like, well, I'm never going to wear these again. So they're like just sit on my cupboard thing. And I'm like, they're like $300 shoes and I've worn them like 4 times.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of money when you're actually thinking about it. So yeah, I think if you're going to go all rounder, pick a shoe you can do pretty much everything in, and
Mhm.
especially if you're a beginner marathon runner. All right, question from Leo. He said, Georgia, does your job care that you are a running influencer? I'm a uni student and I want to start my trail running videos online, but I don't want it to haunt me later when I'm applying for jobs. I love this. Matt's like,
Do
I'm
you?
confused.
I think I think this is a silly question.
I think this is a question a lot of people would think about. Like, personally, I don't think anyone's going to
You're
look
not
at your
doing
job.
OnlyFans.
Yeah,
You're talking
well,
about shoes. Like, what are we talking about?
I think this is something that people would, that's why I left it in there, because I feel like people would think about this. They're like, I don't want my work to see this and think it's unprofessional, or I don't know. But I don't think for trail running, like what you want to do your videos on, I think you're fine, mate. Like, no one's going to look at your trail running videos and be like, I'm not going to hire him.
As a business owner, I would argue that if I saw someone taking the initiative to try and build their own brand, I would say you're a more valuable asset to someone who has not done that. So I would be more inclined to hire you.
There you go. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
No, to answer the first part of your question, Leo, Matt's like, oh my God, stop it. To answer the first part of your question, no, my work does not care. We did have a conversation about this at the start because I was getting into it a little bit more. And no, my boss doesn't care at all. He's just like, your work is your work and whatever you do outside of work is whatever you want to do. I think if I was misrepresenting the brand and like, I mean, I swear and stuff online, but I'm not getting online and being like saying really out there stuff. So he doesn't really care. And I just make sure that if I'm ever doing any paid stuff or brand deals or any activations that I have to go to, that I'm not doing them in work hours. And most brands understand that. But yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think that's
guess.
pretty like stock standard.
Yeah, I mean, some people I'm sure would take time off work to go and do sort of stuff like that, but I'm pretty open with my work about it. Like,
Right.
I had an opportunity with ASICS to be like an MC, and I said, look, this runs into work time. Is there any chance I can come in an hour later? Sorry, it's a really great opportunity for me to like expand my public speaking skills. And he was just like, yeah, sure, whatever, like go and have fun. So I think if you're open about it and you don't hide it, it's completely fine. I do have friends though, just like a quick one, who work in that industry and they have to disclose it with their work because it's a conflict of interest. So
Mm.
if your work does revolve around, I don't know, trail running, it might be something that is to consider, but I don't think it would be an issue at all.
Yeah. And like George sort of hit the nail on the head. If you have like a pretty open, honest conversation with your employer, like they want you to succeed. They want you to be happy. Happy workers are good workers. Like they're not going to shut you down.
Yeah, exactly. And we want to have that good work-life balance. So
Mm.
if trail running videos and putting them on YouTube makes you happy, go and do it. Question from Lana. I'd love to know more about doing a half marathon with my friend. This is her second half marathon, but it's my first. Matt, have you ever run a half marathon with a friend?
No,
Matt's like, I don't run with anyone.
I don't know. I mean, I've done, like, training runs where we've
Okay,
run
Matt,
longer than
if
a
someone
half
was coming to
marathon.
you, because I obviously have my own answers because I've done this sort of stuff with friends. If a client was coming to you and they were like, "I wanna run this with my friend," what would your tips be?
Who's the faster runner? Be like, stick to their paces. Or stick to the slower runners' paces. I would make sure that they do several training runs together so they understand what that pacing feels like. And you'd have to be, like, pretty adamant, like, if someone is feeling better on the day, it's like you either make the decision to stay together or you split, like, don't try and force it. Um, that'd probably be, like, the main points I would take away, like, what I would give an athlete.
Yeah. I've not done a half marathon with a friend. I've started them with friends and then we've all split kind of a couple of Ks in.
Mm.
I did a full marathon with Nick, obviously Gold Coast,
So
and
even you
the
guys
biggest
split then?
things we did, we just well, we had to, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, so we had a conversation beforehand on, like, if this was to happen, what would we do? And I think that's really important when you're running a race with someone, regardless if they're a friend or whatever, is you go in and you kind of say, "All right, my pace is 6 minutes per kilometer, but your half marathon pace is 5 minutes 30. If your friend wants to run it with you, they have to understand that they're running it slower. They've got to run it at your 6 minute. Like they can't expect you to run it at a 5:30. And so, making sure that you've had that conversation beforehand, also making sure you have the conversation of, okay, if I can't keep running, are you happy to stop and walk with me if you need to, or go to the bathroom if I need to, or whatever it is? Or do we want to just go, yep, let's split, you finish, I'll walk it off, and then I'll finish later on? That was a conversation Nick and I had. I wanted to make sure that he could still finish his first marathon. And so when I was not feeling well during Gold Coast, I said, you go. He said, are you sure? And then he just went. We ended up catching up to each other. But yeah, I think just conversations beforehand. And then my other biggest tip is just checking in with each other during the race. So, if you're running and it's crowded, just saying, I'm right here, I'm right behind you, I'm to the right, I'm to the left, you grab water, I'll grab water. Like making sure you're really checking in with each other is really important as well.
Yeah. Um, I don't have anything extra to add to that.
Matt doesn't, Matt's a lone ranger when it comes to running and stuff like that, whereas I'm just like always running with people. So you kind of get
I
used
I
to it,
think
what it's
I
like.
think, racing's just a little bit different, like, it also depends if you're racing. If you're just doing an event for the sake of doing an event, that's very, very different to, like, someone pacing you to get a certain time or, like, as I say with everything, context is king. So there you could break this down a million different ways.
Yeah. And I think, um, from what Lana's just said, that this is her friend's second one and it's her first. So I'm guessing her friend is just like helping her finish the half
Mm,
marathon. So, I mean, I feel like there would have been a conversation beforehand, making sure that, she's okay and like, are you okay to run this pace? And yeah, if you're the pacer, if you're the friend that's running with someone who's doing it for their first time or who's trying to achieve a goal, just making sure you're checking in on them and checking the pace is okay and all that kind of stuff. And also sticking to the pace because it's an important role to make sure you are pacing them to the correct amount and you're confident
mhm.
in the timings because you wouldn't want to get to the end and then they don't get the goal because you paced it wrong. So yeah, open conversations is a big one.
Yep.
Cool. Question from Kira. How do I go about tracking calories and macros when running long distances and consuming gels and lollies when on my long runs and needing to eat more? Do I up my calories to allow for this? We get asked this a fair bit, and I don't think we've asked this before on the podcast. I'm just freaking out. Like, is my baby brain just like repeated this question? But we do get nutrition questions a lot. So
Mm,
I was just going to pick your brain on whether, how if someone is trying to lose weight. I think the context of the start of this question from Kira in my inbox was kind of she's trying to lose weight at the moment, but she also has a lot of running to do. So she has to up her calories to, help with the running.
mhm.
How is that possible during this kind of phase?
Yeah, so, well, I'll always say, like, go and seek out a sports dietitian, like, and go and listen to episode 22 or 23, whatever it is with Lauren that we
23.
did. 23. Um, I always say 23, but I never went back and checked. So I just
It
assumed it
is
was 23.
23. I checked it last week.
Okay. Okay. Um, I would always say that. Now, all I'm going to tell all the listeners, I'm going to tell you guys how Lauren and I do it when I'm in Ironman prep and how we've had a lot of success. And that doesn't mean it's going to be right for you. I'm just going to tell you what has worked, what has worked for me. The way Lauren and I do it is we look at my week of training and we have green days, which are quite light recovery days, could be a rest day. Orange days, which might be something that is speed work. Maybe it's a double run day. Maybe it's speed and gym or easy run and gym or swim, bike, whatever. And then red days, which are like big long run days, double long run days, 6 hour Ironman bike rides, whatever. On green days, we are trying to create as big a calorie deficit as we can while still being responsible. So that might look like something like 500 to 700 calories of deficit, which is quite aggressive. You don't have to do that much, but that's just what we did. Orange days, we are either at maintenance or a slight deficit. So anywhere from, let's just call it break even to maybe negative 200, negative 300 calories. And then on red days, it's you need to fuel as you need to complete your session. So that might mean you're in a surplus. That might mean you are eating 5, 6, 1,000 grams of grams of carbs in the day. And what happens is when you balance it out over the week, because you might have 2 or 3 green days where you've created a 1,500 calorie deficit, maybe 2 orange days where you've maybe 200 or 300 calories. So all of a sudden we've nearly made 2,000 calories of deficit. 1 or 2 red days where you've either broken even or gone slightly over. You've probably, in a 15 to 1,600 calorie deficit over the course of a week. Stack that up over a whole block. It's yeah, I don't know, it's 6,000 calories a month. It's like 24,000 calories over the course of like a 16-week marathon block. And I think I can't remember now, I think a couple of thousand calories or 7,000 calories to a kilo of fat. So it's like there's
Yeah,
4 kilos,
7.
give or take. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's just how we would do it. But I would always suggest going to talk to a sports dietitian if you can.
It's so interesting because, like, only a sports dietitian would know that that's the way to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I would never think to do that. And I think that's really cool and super interesting. So, obviously, if, depending on what you're training for, they'll, will say if you went and saw Lauren, she'll be able to help you and guide you for your specific needs. We should maybe have a look at getting Lauren back on the podcast because we constantly get lots of questions from you guys about dietitian stuff and dietetics. So I think it would be really cool to get her back on and maybe just get some fresh, so we can start saying,
Yeah.
come to episode 60 or
23 and
something.
60. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we might have to maybe episode 63 so we can keep it consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I will definitely have a look into that, guys. But let us know in our inbox if you would like her to come back on the podcast and also what you would ask her. If you want, we can start banking some questions for her. We also had an interesting question just off this on the same topic about AI nutrition apps and stuff. I haven't really seen these. What is your thought on that, Matt, just off the back of last week's episode?
Yeah. I think I actually replied to this answer in our DMs. They still have a long way to go in terms of like them being a reliable source. All the like AI food trackers where you like take a photo of food and like generates it, that's pretty much bullshit. Like, don't waste your time on that. They can't measure weight and density and
Yeah.
different things like that. They don't know if there's oil or butters and things of that nature. So they're pretty much irrelevant. Things like Fuelin, which is probably the biggest one at the moment, which actually like connects to training software and can kind of look at what your training is and predict what your calories are going to be. It's probably the closest model. I don't know of any others that are better. That doesn't mean there isn't. I just don't know of any. I would still
Yeah.
say it's 12 to 18 months away before it would have the potential of replacing a Lauren, for example. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they're good, but they still need a bit of work.
And they have their place.
De-
I,
Definitely
s-
have the
I, s-
place.
Yeah, I saw a funny little thing on Instagram. I think it was yesterday because I was thinking about this question, and it was like, why go? You wouldn't like why go to your PT for nutrition advice? It's the same as going to your hairdresser for waxing. Like it's kind of
Mhm.
just like they're two totally different things, and so go to your PT for PT advice, but go and see a dietitian if you want, nutrition advice. Don't rely on them to do something that's not really their job.
Yeah,
And
outside of
I
the
think,
scope.
yeah, outside of the scope. And you see a lot of PTs who are like, oh, here's your nutrition training plan and stuff like that. And it's like, unless they're a PT with, a degree in dietetics, it's kind of like, why?
Yeah.
It's a
I
lot.
would yeah, and I would say the majority of personal trainers would have like a sports nutritionist course, which is what I've done, which is like
Yep.
a basic comprehension of how nutrition works within the world of sports. I think the big gulf between say someone like me and someone like Lauren is just like the depth of knowledge. So when Georgia, when you get me on a topic about aerobic capacity and I can go level after level after level after level down, that's what Lauren can do about carbohydrates or fats or the way insulin reacts within the body or the way glycogen works at different heart rates, where I can't speak at that level of depth. So that would be the same as the PT analogy, is where they can be like, cool, eat heaps of protein, not many carbohydrates, don't ask me why. And but someone like Lauren can be like, cool, we're gonna go dun 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 dun, and this is why.
Get into the specifics, but yeah, a trainer
Yeah.
might be like, protein, protein, get it
Yeah.
into you. Cool. Question from Ethan said, you've mentioned a target pace for a marathon, but for Hoka Half Marathon, I don't know what time to aim for. I'm a bit lost with how to know how to pace for all of the different distances.
Yeah. So s- for newer runners, I follow like a really, really simple formula. Um, for a marathon, it is, and you've got to have your training zones set up for heart rate and paces. But for a marathon, it is upper zone 2 to lower zone 3. For half marathon, it is upper zone 3 to lower zone 4. For a 10K, it is upper zone 4. And for 5K, it is all out VO2, like top of zone 5. So that's just a super, super simple formula.
I love it. All right. I'm gonna write that down just so and we'll pop it in the notes of
Yeah.
today so you guys can remember it. Yeah, I'll pop it in the little slide that's like on this week's episode.
Yeah,
uh
if you don't have like a specific goal and you're just going off your numbers, like that is the easiest way.
yeah. Yeah. And I guess if you've done a marathon, you might, you could go off your numbers for what you were for the marathon and you might want to go a little bit faster. And that's where you can go into that upper zone, the lower zone 4, sorry. Like Matt was just saying.
Hmm.
Yeah, cool. Okay. James has asked, if a triathlon has a 750-meter swim involved, should I aim in my training to be able to swim longer than that in one go so that I'm used to it on race day?
Nah,
You only have to do the 750 in one go?
that, I don't know many triathletes. Now, a 750 is kind of an odd distance because it's not relevant. It is not very far. So, like most triathletes, if you're an experienced triathlete, they could swim, a K unbroken without thinking about it. But it's very similar to the marathon. Like you don't run the 42 before you do the 42. So I've done 5 Ironman. I've never swum 3.8 unbroken in training. I've never swum 1.9 unbroken for a half. Um, no, like if it was really, really playing on your mind, sure. But at the same time, in the pool, it's not the same because you're pushing off from the walls. It's a controlled environment, so it's like it's not the same. Um, I re I really wouldn't be worried about it. If you're swimming 2 or 3 times a week, anywhere from 1 to 2 Ks, you're going to be good as gold.
Yeah. And James, maybe if it helps you, like Nick recently did the sprint and he was really worried about swimming unbroken the full 750. That was his biggest kind of thing. He was just like, I've never done that before. I think the most he did unbroken in the pool was about 400 meters before the
Hmm.
race, just because that's all he did. but when I asked him about it afterwards, I was like, how did you go with the unbroken? Did it feel really hard or was it easier than in the pool? And he actually just said it was a lot easier because in the pool, you can see a lot of the markers along the way. So you know when halfway is, you know when you're almost at the end. You hit the wall, you turn around, you feel like it takes a lot longer. Whereas he said during the actual race, it was very much just like, okay, there's the next buoy that you're spotting. And then you're kind of just swimming to that. And then you get to that. And he's like, and then you just keep going. You're not really seeing markers. You can't see too much. So he's like, it
Mm.
actually just felt a lot easier than it would in a pool. So I don't know, maybe that helps.
Yeah. Yeah. And like of all the half Ironman I've done, never once during the swim have I been like, oh, this is a long way. Like you just find a groove and you're sort of turning the arms over. Like you'll be fine.
Cool. Bit of a fun one here. This one's for you, Matt. Carly has
Cool.
asked, Matt, will you ever attempt the Barkley Marathon?
Oh, if I get invited for sure, but it's pretty gnarly. Like I don't know how I'd go.
It's on right now, isn't it? Or
I'm
is it
pretty sure, yeah.
finished?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been away. I haven't really been keeping up with it, but I know it is either on right now or has just finished.
Now,
But
I
yeah,
don't
I
know
hmm,
too much about the Barkley Marathon. I can't remember.
Barkley
Is that
Marathon, yeah.
Barkley? Yeah. I don't know too much about it. Do you know much about it, Matt? Could you give everyone who's listening, maybe if they've never heard about it before, a little rundown of what it is?
Yeah, so I can't remember the fella's name who invented it, but he's like a proper sociopath. Like he's the one who created like backyard ultras, like the last man standing type races. He like he's a proper nutter, in the
Yeah.
best possible way. Like he's great for the ultra world. Um, so essentially what he does is he's got this, I don't know if it's his property or if it's like national park or how it works, but he takes these pages from a book, 5 pages from a book, and he puts them at 5 different points in this park, or this property, and they're on peaks, and they're like, stuffed away, hidden inside like a tree trunk. Like they're not like just sitting out in the open. There's no map. There's no best way to do it. There's no road to run on or trail. So a lot of it is just like you're running through bush and like making your own way. He doesn't tell you where they are. He just says it's over there, and you've just got to work it out. And you've got to, I can't remember the exact timings, but it's like you go out to one peak, and then you've got to come back and like drop the page off, and then go out again. And it's like there's certain cutoffs to get each one done. And I'm pretty sure they neg split or like close enough to neg split.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like 200 kilometers total or something like that. So it's if I've butchered that, I apologize, but it's just pretty close to what it is.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a pretty. I was just quickly googling it while we're on mic at the moment, and
Mm,
yeah, you were very close. Like you were very, like that's pretty much exactly what it is. But it says here, which is such an interesting fact. It said only 25% of the 40 strong field
mm.
made it to the second loop of the 5 lap race.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure
not
only
many
like one
people.
person's finished it in
Oh,
history.
there's been quite a few people who have finished it, but I
Oh,
think
okay,
only one female, and she was
maybe
last
that was
year.
it. Maybe
That's
that
probably
was
what
what
you're
I heard.
thinking of. I think
Yeah.
last year, or the year before, she was the first female from memory who's actually
Hmm.
finished it. But yeah, it's actually started by Gary Cantrell, known as Lazarus Lake, and he's an
Laz,
endurance
yes.
race designer. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Um,
super cool.
and it's invite only too, so you can't just buy an entry or go into the ballot. Like you've got to be invited.
Yeah, it says, yeah, pretty much like around 40 people get invited to do it each year, and not many people seem to finish it. But
Yeah.
um, it totals up to around about 100 miles in harsh
Mm.
terrain, and the limit for the race is 60 hours. Oh.
Yeah. So if I did,
Hectic.
if in some weird universe I did get invited, I would only go with like number one, even I just have to be able to run for 60 hours, which I have not yet done. So let
Yeah.
alone be able to do whatever crazy shit he's got planned. Um, so yeah, there'd be a few things that I'd need to address, but if I got the opportunity, I definitely wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah, I've never I didn't realize about the pages thing, but that's crazy.
It's to prove that you've been to the right spot, and
Yeah, because
yeah,
it's like it's not a marked course, so you've just got
yeah,
to Crazy. Okay, cool. Megan has asked how to stop your HR from spiking on zone 2 runs.
Megan, you know better than this. This is our Meg, isn't it? I know it is, isn't it? It's
Maybe.
TPP Meg.
Yes, this might be Meg. Meg, we love
Yeah,
you. Stop talking on your runs, Meg.
yeah. That number one. Stop yapping.
Stop yapping.
Um, yeah,
Keep your
just
music low.
keep music like just go out slow. Like everyone's in such a rush on these No2 runs, and I'm just like, just chill. Like you got all the time in the world. Relax. Everyone's
Yeah,
looking at their paces, and I'm just like, no
yeah.
one cares.
I think, and I'm not saying Meg, you do this. I think a lot of people with their zone 2 and stuff, they're worried to share it on socials or on Strava or whatever. Whereas if you kind of just lean into it, the slower you go, it's kind of a bit more impressive because you just like, yeah, that's right. I just ran for 3 hours at 2 minutes below my normal pace. Like
Mm.
I think it's, yeah, just lean into it. You got to just really, really slow down. And I think people think they're going really slow and then they don't actually realize you can actually go a lot slower and know you're not walking. So yeah, but couple of quick tips that I have learned because, as you know, Matt is just like slow down is, yeah, keep your music low. Don't listen to anything that's high, like beat music. I listen to artists like, say like a Jack Johnson or something like that, or Ziggy Albert's where they were like really quite low music, or listen to an audiobook. Don't talk to people. Don't run with other people, to be honest. I think it's almost impossible to do a zone 2 with someone else because their zones are never really the same as yours. Yeah, hills, make sure you get good sleep. Have you had enough water? Like there's so many different factors. I think if your heart rate is spiking during a run, just stop and walk for 2 minutes and I guarantee your heart rate will drop back down and then you can just keep going again. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
The only other thing I'll add is most people when they first start running and like first start their training session, that's when they're looking at their watch the most and they see the most deviation. But if you look at them, but a lot of them don't look at average heart rate over the whole session. So naturally, when you first start exercising, heart rate is going to spike, especially, and Meg, I know you are one of these people who don't like to warm up. Um, you spend the first 2-3 Ks, like your body's like going, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? And it spikes because it's like trying to push blood wherever it needs to push blood and calm everything down. And then it goes, oh, okay, like she's not trying to kill me, like we can relax. So
Yeah.
it'll spike, which is where your warm up is meant to be, and then it'll come down and balance, and that's where the lactate sits in the blood and everything sits nice and calm. That is like where you should actually be starting your run.
Super helpful. I mean, I look at the entire run. Don't stress too much about, the 2 minutes that your heart rate went above zone 2.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
and
used to
that's
freak
just go for it. You finish
I
yours.
was going to say, I used to freak out when my watch would like tick out of the zone and it'd be like
Hmm.
beep, 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 beep. And then I'd be like, oh my God. But when you actually just kind of semi ignore it a little bit, it just drops straight back down again. Like you just got to kind of cruise through it.
Yeah, and only other thing I'll add to that is like, if you cross out of zone 2 into zone 3, you don't. There's not like this big steel door that comes down and stops the zone 2 benefits, right? It's like a scale. So just because you're slightly out of zone 2, like you're just getting maybe 2% less zone 2 than what you would be. So it's like like George said, just relax. It'll come back down. You're not like ruining your
Yeah.
run by being 2 beats higher, 5 beats higher. You're fine.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone just with zone 2 stuff just needs to just relax and chill out a bit and just don't think too much
Yeah.
about it. Just enjoy it for
Don't
what it
look at
is. It's
pace.
like,
Just look at heart rate.
yeah, just enjoy it. Like, just go out and be like, heck yeah, I can go and just really cruise in this run. So,
Hmm.
look, guys, if I can survive a a zone 2 3 hour long run that Matt gave me a couple of years ago, you guys can do anything. It's really not that bad. All right. We have a question from Arthur. Between Whoop, HR Monitor, and Rec Boots, what would you buy to improve your performance? I don't know what Rec Boots are.
I'm
Recovery
assuming
boots?
they're like, yeah, I'm assuming they're like the compression boots.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
What would be your
as someone
pick
who
to improve your performance?
as someone who owns all of those, um, the first two things I would do free is make sure that I'm getting enough sleep. and making sure that I'm eating and hydrating correctly. Um, that would be my first two. And then my third thing would be make sure I have a balanced training program, assuming all those are, because they're like the biggest bang for your buck. Like, I don't care if you're a billionaire, if you're sleeping 3 hours a night, like you can buy all the shit you want in the world. It's not going to make you a better athlete. So,
Okay.
like, if you no Whoop band or fucking heart rate monitor can fix good sleep. So make sure you're ticking those boxes. My next one would be a smartwatch for GPS and pacing, and it gives you a ballpark of heart rate. And I'm assuming most runners have that. Then my next one would be a heart rate monitor so you get accurate heart rate data. If your sessions are accurately tracked, then your ability to monitor recovery and performance the next day is significantly more accurate than if you're just guessing. So I would say out of the options you gave me would be heart rate monitor.
Heart rate, yeah. I think, especially with the recovery boots, I think unless you're really like hardcore training, I don't think they're that worth it for the everyday athlete, quote unquote. I think
Mm-hmm.
like they're good and you feel good and your DOMs are definitely significantly less. But like a good night's, if you're not doing like insane training, a good night's sleep is going to fix that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is a lot of money for like not that much benefit when you're only doing kind of your regular training stuff. I agree with Matt. Heart rate monitor is a really good one. And yeah, if you don't already have like a Garmin, for sure, because you can really monitor your progress and monitor how you're feeling and stuff like that. And I know for me, like anytime I see my HRV dip below, I know that I have to kind of take it a little bit easier because I must be getting something or coming down with a cold or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a good indicator for me. But yeah, I think I've never used a Whoop, so I can't comment on that. Sorry.
Yeah, I've got a Whoop band. I'd say Whoop is more. I'd say it's better for recovery rather than like performance. Uh, that being said, if unless you're following Whoop religiously, it's kind of like is what it is. Like I probably only really lock into Whoop when I am in prep. So maybe for the next 14 weeks I'll follow it, and then I won't follow it for a bit, and then when I go to IMNWA prep, I'll follow it. Um, I don't think it is that good for just like if you're just doing day-to-day life.
Yeah. Also, no one should really rely on their watch that much. I think it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good just to just not look at your watch for a while and, don't wake up and be like, how did I sleep? Like, ask yourself how you slept. Don't look at your watch before you think about that.
Hmm.
Okay, last question here from Zoe. What percentage of my long run should be at marathon pace? Should I ever be doing a long run at entirely marathon pace?
George, you can handle this. You're the fastest marathon runner on this podcast.
No, I wouldn't say you do an entire marathon session at marathon pace. A really great one that we have spoken about before on the podcast is a 3 by 10K session. So there would be a warm up, then it would be one block of 10K at marathon pace with a float in between. So your float might be a kilometer or so. I can't remember exactly what the distance was that Matt would put in between. But that float is kind of where you recover, get find your feet again. You might have a gel. You might, if you're wearing a water flask or something, you might have some more water and just like kind of chill out a little bit. This float isn't like a walk or an easy pace. It's just a little bit slower than your marathon pace. And then you jump back into another 10K at marathon pace. And then again, you have another float and then another 10K and then you have a cool down. I don't think I ever did an entire marathon session. I think the longest I ran was 37 kilometers. And I know that that was definitely not all at marathon pace. So, no, to answer your question, Zoe, you don't need to run it completely at marathon pace, but getting some really good sessions in where you are running some solid blocks of marathon pace is super helpful for race day. Yeah. What else? I think if you're wanting to work on your speed for a marathon as well, I think some really great sessions are the ones where you might be doing the main block of your marathon session or your long run at kind of a slightly easier than marathon pace, and then towards the end you are chucking in some, marathon and above marathon pace to kind of work on tired legs. Matt, are you so proud of me? Was that amazing?
That was pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yay.
I mean, I wouldn't hire you, but like it's pretty good.
Well, I'm not a coach, so I'm glad you wouldn't hire me.
Yeah. Very similar. Like Georgia nailed like all the big points. Then a little bit more nuance is like you want to progress your marathon efforts as the block goes. So when you first start doing long runs, it's all easy. And then once you get a little bit of fitness, you might be like, cool, I'm going to do a 20K long run with 15Ks at marathon pace, then maybe, sorry, 15Ks at zone 2 pace, and then maybe 3 to 5Ks at marathon pace, plus a little cool down. And then I might go to 2x3, 2x5, 3x7, maybe 3x5, 3x6, 3x7. We're like we're pretty open that our biggest workout is exactly what George just said. It's 3x10K. It's total 37 kilometers. That would sort of be our peak week of training. We also do a 33, that's 2x10. Yeah, so you definitely want to be spending time at marathon pace and above marathon pace. But at no point would I recommend doing all marathon pace because that's just, it's not smart. Like the central nervous system tax and the risk of injury, especially like at the end of bigger training weeks, is too high. So the trade-off isn't what I would consider a fair trade-off or a good ROI. And yeah, I think that sort of nails everything.
Yeah, hopefully that is helpful for you. Look, I think I've pretty much said all of that, and you could hire me, but let's not. I'm already hired, sucked in.
Yeah. You mean
Uh,
sucked in?
You're stuck with me now, mate. That's all of our questions for this week, but tell us what's happening in the week ahead, Matt, now that you've got this fire in your belly to get back into training and take it a bit more seriously. What's happening this week?
Um, I'm actually going to a run training squad twice a week.
Oh,
Yeah, they do like trail specific work, so I'm going to be working with them. Um, so that's probably the biggest change. Um, honestly, it's just like I just got to fucking pull my head in and yeah, lock back in. Like I know what I need to do. I just haven't been doing it, and I think I need to spend the next however long just sort of getting back into that zone and being like, okay, like this is the balance now between work and training where it's not 90-10 TPP to training. It's maybe going to be like 60-40 TPP to training and then 50-50. And then maybe in the 2 or 3 weeks leading into UTA, it's going to be 100% locked in on training. And then, yeah, that'll shift back post UTA. But I need to just be honest with myself. If I want the results that I know I'm capable of, then I need to fucking do the work that is required.
yeah. Pull your head in.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah. No sugarcoating it, mate. What about you, G?
Very good. Um, Not much this week. I was given strict orders from my doctor that I had to take it easy, so that's a bit upsetting. I'm hoping maybe towards the end of the week I can get a run in or yeah, some gym sessions at least because that's taking it easy. So yeah, maybe a nice run in will be good. And hopefully no spews on the side of the road like last week. So taking it easy. It's always fun.
Rather you
People
than me, mate.
Yeah, then people walk past you and they just think you're kind of maybe a bit hungover or drunk or something. Just like, I'm pregnant, leave me alone.
Yeah, so you say that like, oh, okay, no worries, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry. It's not some drunk girl on the side of the road at 7
Yep.
a.m. just cruising over here. So yeah, that's kind of it for the week. No, I don't have any activations or run clubs or anything I've got to go to. Last week I had one and then I've got one, I think, next week. Yeah, next week for the Super Blast, which will be really cool. So I'll let you guys know how that goes.
Cool.
Cool. All right. Well, this has been episode 55 of Beyond the Finish Line. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you head over to Instagram and follow us at Beyond the Finish Line _pod. Head over to wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, download, leave a review, and share it with a friend. We would very much appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Hey, Ray.
Bye.